back to the daily candle so you guys can see this on the yearly. This is something that can be kind of tricky to play. One of the things you'll notice is NEO is actually similar and sympathizing with Tesla. And if you just look at the charts, they're a little bit different, but they kind of have the same look to them, mostly because a lot of NEO has been following Tesla patterns. So you can kind of see has that all-time high. You're getting the same chop down, same chop down. NEO is just a little bit less volatile. It's a little slower. And obviously it's cheaper premium. So if you're someone who's interested in playing Tesla a lot, that's one of my favorite tickers to play because you can get some really good premiums, sometimes very cheap, sometimes not too bad, with obviously bigger moves. But if you're trying to be protective in your account or a little bit more conservative, NEO would be a good look here. Now, when we get back into the NEO chart, something I like to look at on the daily time frame is when I'm looking for NEO, I'm going to start looking to set up some longs, hopefully above these EMAs back into the 40s. I think now that we've consolidated enough to pretty much a little bit of a trend line support here, we should be able to bounce off this hard wick that you saw here, which is where I have my fib level, back into the at least 40s, and then start moving a little bit higher. Momentum starting to pick up. RSI is bouncing off the lowest point 2 weeks ago. So this is another good ticker to start looking at. Obviously, you have these dotted lines, if you could see here. Once again, it's kind of descending in the triangle, but you do have that trend line support. So definitely something to watch here. I'd say bullish, but careful with the market, obviously, and just keep adjusting your plays. All right, next ticker. This should be an interesting one. We got Square. Square, I find kind of interesting because once Bitcoin had a big craze, it started following a little bit of Square has been following the movement of Bitcoin. So this is something that you could definitely look at to play with momentum of Bitcoin news. One thing I do like about Square, though, is that you do have this longer term ascending trend line here. We did break below it, but we're wicking off again here and bouncing. I did like that. Obviously, the QQs ended on a rougher day, but if we look here, we might be able to get above these EMAs. Obviously, there's more support around here. I would be looking at a bounce off of the 192.5 to start getting into calls if we can get the bounce off that fib line. But if we start moving a little bit lower and break down below here, then we're probably going to keep moving a little bit lower. As you can see, the MACD is starting to tighten up and the RSI is at a point where it's getting a little bit more oversold than bought up. But if this momentum keeps pushing down with the market and we keep chopping, it's going to be kind of rough. So I would start looking at puts there too. Let's hop into the 30-day 4-hour just to get a closer look of what we saw the last month. So previous high 278, making obviously new low for the last 30 days. This is a good move. I'd say closer to 207 if you could start getting calls if the market picks up here. You do kind of have this little bit of a 3-day flag if this starts breaking up. So definitely watch that. All right, let's hop into the next one. I'm just going to talk about the sector in general because it's just been really, really hot. XLF.
Yes.
If you look at financials in general, I know there was a question in the chat that was referring to some stimulus and market conditions. Obviously, the more stimulus that's getting printed, I think at this point we're kind of tapped out. One of the things I've been saying live and regarding SPY and QQQ and how stimulus is kind of impacting that is that the federal government right now is at a point where they're kind of kicking a can down the road and they're just going to kick it until they can't kick it no more. We've obviously been trading in choppy terms because we keep getting news on inflation, and everyone's kind of aware. It's just a matter of when. Financials, though, have been able to boast off of this news and off of the stimulus. Everything is getting rotated pretty much right back into banks. I mean, if you just look at XLF on the weekly chart for the last 3 years, you can see that it's extremely bullish. And so this is something that you could definitely, even when it's oversold, it's very obvious. I mean, look at the extension here. You're looking at almost practically a year extension up to actually in 2 days. Yeah. So this will be a complete year of extension of just straight bullishness, but you are pushing resistance right here on the weekly charts. You have the 2 candles here that are red. I would like to see a bounce this week, maybe some pullback to get into more calls. As you can see here, let's get the volume profile out of the way for a sec. As you can see here, we did kind of have like this little bottom here where we kind of double bottomed off of about this level around $37. So if you're trying to get short or not short, calls in a short swing, you could definitely play this to the 37, 38s. Maybe get this lucky push to 39 and hold above. Obviously, we did test these higher levels. So this is something that you could look to play on a breakout above, I'd say 37.5. Banks in general, just let's go right through them. They're following XLF, obviously, because that's the entire ETF for it. So Goldman Sachs is definitely still bullish. You could see the same pattern kind of here, bouncing off the doubles right here around 306, 350. Now let's move it up a little bit. Say, yeah, 360. Obviously, this is actually a pretty good one short term. So you have the momentum pushing a little bit, volume obviously increasing. So this was a nice little transition of less volume into higher volume with a big candle. I would definitely look to play this back to 370s and maybe break up even to 375. JPM, another ticker for banks. Same exact pattern here, a little more choppy here because this is a cheaper premium play, but we're bouncing right here off the 50 EMA over the last week, Thursday and Friday. So this could be a good move back into 160s or 165, and then maybe even a push to 170 for all-time highs. Cheaper plays for banks, Wells Fargo. Contracts are very, very pretty. I mean, if you're just looking at the contracts, pretty cheap for, for banks. Let's get back into the chart here and let's get rid of this. Very clear trend of a channel just moving up. I'm not even going to, chart it out here, but let's go to the 1 day. And you can kind of see the same thing. Right now, we tested with this gap below. So something right here I would look for is just setting yourself up with the gap here. So you do have this kind of gap right about there. Let's make it a little bit clearer. Did test on the 20-day EMA. And hopefully we'll see what this next candle turns out to be. Obviously, we had that momentum push down in Wells Fargo, but you do have some support right around here, out in 45.39. So levels that I'd be looking at for this, kind of the 45, 43 level, and then a push. If we break below here, I would say watch 45 exactly on the dot, because the next, let's put it right there, 45. And then you'll have a little bit more support down to here in 43s. So this is a pretty big, could be a pretty big drop on puts. Definitely cheap way to look at it if you're looking to see how the market plays in a downturn. Wells Fargo, obviously not the biggest mover, but like you said, if you do have some equity that you're looking to get long in, maybe you can get some longer term options on this for the downside, as financials have been a little bit more overextended. But in the short term, definitely still bullish. So keep watching that. And the last one of the day, favorite ticker to play. If you know me or if you've been on my channel, definitely I loved Lotto Fridays on Tesla. Sometimes pays out really nice. I think this past Friday wasn't too hot. Got stuck in a really weird technical issue with my computer, so I got kind of screwed out of a play, out of a short with our long on Tesla. But the 2 weeks before that, or a week before that, we did have one Tesla call that was a Lotto Friday. Ended up going to about, I think it was $100 into 2K, and I had some traders go from 1,000 to almost 20K in 1 hour. So wow, definitely a really cool play. Definitely awesome ticker to play. Tesla's getting a lot of rap with Elon being on Twitter and talking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin manipulation. Obviously, there's a lot of conspiracies with that. Believe what you will, but we play the we buy the news, sell the, or buy the rumor, sell the news, and kind of play that, if you will. Tesla is a little bit bearish here, as you can see. I'm going to hop into the longer time frame for the weeklies. And as you could see, we do have this kind of bear flag pattern here. It looks a lot smoother in the 1 year, 1 day. Overall, we're ascending in the trend here, but we have had this choppy consolidation in this area for Tesla. Yesterday, we had some bulls push it up, or on Friday, I should say, but not enough. As you could see, we closed below the previous week. So when you get into the daily candles, what I'm looking for Tesla here is I definitely feel Tesla can push a little bit lower. Let's hop into the volume profile to see what that looks like with support and purchasing. So let's look at this right here. So Tesla's trading slightly under, if you could see this golden line here, right around the 20-day EMA 624.59. It's been trading in a weird zone where this could definitely come back down into the 562s or even 544. I think that was the lowest point we got.
Yeah, 544.
544-ish. So definitely it's going to be a really interesting chop between this level. If you're playing this, be very cautious. The premiums move quickly. And the stop losses can be obviously, very hurtful, but you got to be kind of patient with these plays when they develop. One of the things I would say is I would not look to get into any starter positions yet for Tesla until we get back above 625. If you're looking to get long into Tesla, I definitely think it could hit 1,000 as the previous high was 900. It's going to take some time, but for now, I'm going to be short on Tesla, looking to play it more to the downside. If I get 2 or 3 week out swings, or if I'm playing, intraday, I'm only playing momentum. Let me show you what I mean by that intraday. So usually my pre-market analysis on Tesla, I try to play it on Fridays. As you can tell, I'm running a small account challenge. So for them, the premiums are a lot cheaper on Fridays rather than playing $1,000. You can get maybe 4 or 5 contracts out of the money and flip the premiums from $1 even higher to, $20 per contract. So something, if you look at in the intraday timeframes for the 10-day, Tesla has a ability to move very few, a lot of points in a few time frame or a very small time frame. So even you could see here in the, let's go to the hourly candle actually. 20-day 1 hour, we are making new lows from the 750 or 749.3 high. We're trending right around the point of control. This could be a very big buying opportunity for some funds. The overall market analysis on Tesla or sentiment seems to be quite bearish. So I'm definitely watching that. And with Tesla, definitely want to play the news. You do kind of have on the hourly this kind of flag here, if you will. So one thing I would like to see is, are we going to, continue with the pattern, break through the flag, maybe get a couple points? This is about 40 points. So this would put us right about 610. And then, like I said, we're back at that level where, Tesla can get that random push a little bit higher to 630s. But for now, I don't see it getting to 674 unless there's any type of news. If you follow any Tesla related news or DD, you know that, a lot of the news came out where Elon was getting into Bitcoin to kind of offset the financial balance sheet since car sales weren't too hot. But if you're swinging this long term, just see that the volume is a lot lower than usual, and just be cautious there. All right, let's go to my last ticker. Last ticker is going to be the VIX. This can be an interesting play. Obviously, you could see long-term VIX has kind of just been squeezing down. Let's get into a shorter time frame of the 90-day 4-hour. You do have this little bit of a wedge here, kind of consolidating here, and we did actually break a little bit below it if we just extend these lines. So let's just extend that like this to get an overall picture of this. What I do want to see is that the MACD, though, is starting to turn back, and volatility, as you could tell, has been very interesting with the chop. I would expect to play this back and even adjust this like so, and say that we'll come probably from our lows, and we might even, let's keep it here for now, but we're not too far out of this wedge. EMAs are back around lowest point 40, and with the high of the 200 EMA around 41. So definitely watch the VIX. If this starts curling up, you know that we're going to get a little more chop in the premiums. So I would sit on cash, be cautious, wait for momentum plays, maybe even get some longs into the VIX short term and try to play this back into this area of maybe $42. This could be a quick, easy play for you. And actually, if you see here, you do on this candle right about here, you kind of do have a weird, if you ignore this, you can actually see this little cup and handle. So you might actually see this pop back into these levels. So be cautious about that too. So that's what I'm watching for this week. I'm not going to be playing any earnings anytime soon. One of the other things I want to remind everyone is we are in the summertime. It's a little bit, obviously, the market, and we've had a lot of weird stuff in 2020, or end of 2020 and end of 2021 trading, or beginning of 2021 trading. A lot of weird Wall Street bets news and GameStop and all that stuff. A lot of chop and manipulation in the market. But once again, keep in mind we are in May and in the summer, so sell in May, go away. Volume will be a little bit slower. These moves will not be as dramatic. So be cautious when you're playing your trades. I would say a fair ROI is around 20, anywhere from 20 to max 45, 50% return if you have prime execution. And then anything above that is, by grace of goodwill. So just be cautious and definitely take your profits if you can.
Nice. I was seeing your XLF position. I like that a lot, especially for a credit spread play. I was thinking, I don't know if you guys are comfortable with credit spread, but it's basically I can see, the 35 being a pretty high probability put of ending like out of the money. I don't know if you have. Oh, you're on TOS, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you can look at
Yes.
that. So I mean, you're looking at you're talking about the 35s, right? Bullish.
Yeah, 35, 33 maybe, because I want to get some premium because I won't get anything. Um, yeah, put 20. Strike 35 for the sell side.
Let's see, let's set it up again. Sorry about that. All right, 20 contract or 20,
Yeah,
and you said
20,
35.
35 and yeah, 35 and 33 maybe. Um yeah, I do. Yeah, I like this platform. But it's 3,000 for how much? For 220. I think that's do you have I know there's a pretty cool feature on TOS to know the odds of a
Oh yeah, I
um
think it's let's see.
to end like out of the money.
Yeah, analyze sell. Do the spread. We said sell 35 and go into 30 on the buy. 33 is on the buy,
Yeah,
right?
33. Yeah.
Come on. There we go. 20. There you go. So these are the probability ranges that you have.
Yeah, exactly. So below 3382 is, um near for yeah, we're aiming for May 28, of course. So 0.01%, you know. Um so I think that's a between 33 and 37, it's 50% probability. Okay.
So
Um
this isn't too bad.
yeah, but that wasn't the stats that I was talking about. Mine, like, I because I don't have like TOS, so I cannot like really show you how to. But like I saw a pretty nice tool on TOS is the probability of a options to end to expire out of the money.
There you go. There you go. I had to switch it. I had it in the money. So there you go.
Oh, okay,
So
exactly.
100%.
Yeah, below 33, but we're selling the 35, so we want to be above 35. But can you go to the options chain
Yeah.
and maybe put that on like one of your filter, um like volume, mark, delta, and all that. Maybe one of the maybe you have one option to have a probability out of the money.
Let's see, customize.
Yes, OTM. Yes. That's exactly it.
There we go. So let's see.
Exactly, 85%. So it means that like the market is timing is aiming for this contract to end out of the money 85%. So it basically means that you have an 85% chance of winning on your short leg. Okay, and if you look at the IV, okay, you see the plus minus 1.878. So that's the expected move by like ups or down. Okay, so if you're outside that range, for example, right now the price is what 37.58. You do minus that. Um, it equals to it equals to 35.70. Okay, and we're taking the 35, which means yeah, it's risky, but we have around like a 70 cents runway, a difference between our short leg for our credit and the actual deviation. But if you want to be safer, you can take the 34, 32. That would definitely be safer choices, with 93% for the 34 puts. So yeah, that's just an idea on credit spread, because I'm aiming to do, I'm aiming to open a credit spread account for those who work a 9 to 5, because I do work a 9 to 5. So it's a much less stress strategy,
Yeah, and
because
sorry to
yes.
interrupt you, but also notice the contracts, these are for June. So even if you, I think we're looking at the 35s, we're 85%, but even look at the Mays for the weeklies are even closer at 100% out of the money. So,
Oh, yes, exactly. You see, so you can collect some good uh, uh like some good amount if you do increase the amount of shares that you trade, for example, but that requires you a big collateral. So for example, for credit spread, the a good amount for an account is around 5K and plus. um but I'm planning on starting one on Wiseguy. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, just an idea. We're gonna be looking at now some earnings. um Kenny, I don't know if you want to chart um the some earnings for us.
sure.
Okay. Um, I'm just Pinduoduo PDD. Very interesting chart.
I already have a chart for it.
Yes,
Awesome. So
exactly.
yeah, so Pinduoduo, definitely a cool ticker to play. I've actually been sitting on this one for a little bit. I know their earnings were coming up, so let's see, when are the earnings on the 26th before market
Yeah,
open?
26. They
So
expect. Um. Yeah. I'm sorry. Just a quick word,
yeah, go for it.
Kenny, with the earnings overview I have here on earnings. Oh, maybe I should chart it, because like I have some information
Yeah,
like on
I'll let
earnings
you.
whisper.
Sure, I'll
Yeah.
let you hop in.
Sorry.
All good, all good.
Yes, Nimai. Has to mute. Um.
I just had the question about the probability like chart Kenny pulled up. I wanted to know
Yes.
how to read that. Like even Webull has that, how or
Really?
where it'll expire.
Yeah.
Webull, like the mobile app is nice. It kind of has the volume profile too. I can't do much with it because I can draw on it, but yeah, I wanted to know how to read that probability chart. That's all, because I've looked at that and I love to play something with a high probability. I love probability in general, but
Okay.
yeah,
So that's a very nice topic. It's just about statistic. Okay. So how TOS calculate that? I have no idea like precisely, but I heard that there was like 10 series of calculation that TOS does with the probability of ending um uh, of a contract expiring out of the money. Okay, so how to read that? Well, I think you need to have a strategy, kind of to put that in perspective. So me, for example, my strategy is selling credit spread. Okay, so it's pretty much saying that, for example, earlier for the example of the XLF, okay, I was saying that, okay, I will sell the 34 puts. Okay, so if you sell a put, it means that you think it will go up. Okay, but you need a lot of collateral because you're selling. Okay, you're selling a contract. So 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 basically, what I'm saying with my credit spread is that XLF would not go below 34. Okay, so whatever the XLF does, I don't need to care as long as it does not go as long as my contract does not go in the money. Okay, so that is why I'm using that percentage to basically know the inverse of my winning probability. Okay, so the higher the contract expire out of the money, like the higher the chance, the higher my credit spread strategy will work. All right, my win rate will increase depending on what strike I use. Okay, so if I use, for example, the 35 before, I think TOS showed us like 85% of expiring out of the money. So basically, that means that I will be 85% win rate of XLF never touching 35. Okay, but if I chose to be more safer, I can go with a 34. Okay, so a 34 will be I remember 91% winning probability. Okay, of getting out of the money at expiration. And yeah, so I'm using it as in that context, so it gives me, you know, a better overview of that probability. And I think you use that probability to know your chances, pretty much. So for example, if you go, you know, near 30s, near the at the money contract, the chance of it expiring like out of the money will be less and less. Yeah. So Pinduoduo, their earnings is uh on 23rd. No, what? On 23rd? Wait, when is their earnings again? Oh, it's right here. Okay. Um, it's Wednesday. Wednesday. We have a pretty nice expected quarterly revenue. Okay. But earnings not looking that great. So we have those some nice level here. You guys can go into earnings whisper and to have some technical price level to put on your chart. But I just want to show you guys my chart of Pinduoduo. So we have this very nice trading range here, just above our point of control. So around 146, 142, okay, as a resistance point. We also have this resistance here. No, this gap here, right above us at 152, 159. Okay, so a 3%, 3.7% gap. So that can be a pretty nice move to play. I just want to show you guys how this formation relates to Wyckoff analytic method. Okay, so this is an accumulation phase of Wyckoff events. Okay, so this is pretty much a campaign of banks. Okay, so we have this selling climax here, so this pattern. And what is the most important here that I want to show you guys is the spring. Okay, is the zone where fake outs happen, and banks do that, you know, to test the demand zone, okay, below us. They do that to really try to see if there's enough you know enough shares for them to get at a cheaper price. Okay, so they really want to test the market, and if it's strong enough, they will then cup a lot of shares here slowly and engage this whole campaign to the upside after. So I just want to show you guys the resemblance within the two technical pattern. Okay, so this looks a lot like a spring. We have a very strong shot to the upside. If we look at the volume, we can see a decreasing volume up until this moment, this big selling candle. And then after that, we're seeing some increase in the buying volume. Okay, and with mixed with this very nice move here, this break of 121. So my levels for Pinduoduo is 121. And then for support, resistance will be around 140, 141, so a $20 range. We also have this point of control at 136. Okay, so 136 will be, a pretty nice zone to get out. Right now, we saw some resistance on Friday. Okay, pretty relatively bearish candle. Okay, after that we filled that gap here. And then we kind of touch a resistance zone here. If we're heading lower, we will be looking at 125. Okay, so maybe we will have a retest of 125, and after that we might go up here. So for earnings, pin duo, of course, I will not play the direct earnings, but that one will be one to follow to the upside, I think. For pin duo, we can also see this divergence with the CMF, right? Oops. So divergence to the upside here, price is going to the downside. So at the end, we need the bulls to potentially fill that gap to the upside, and tech maybe starting to rotate back into the scene. Except pin duo, I think this week we also have Li Auto. Okay, Neo, their main competitor, are doing great in China. I think they had more deliveries last month than Tesla. I'm not sure, but I think Tesla in China is slowing down as business is not going very well. So Li Auto, one to watch. Okay, I just want to pull the auto really quickly. So we have this bottom right here at 1658. Okay, this is starting, to I'm just looking at some formation here. We can see a double top. Okay, and right now a potential head and shoulder coming here. If we can have some type of move like this, then we break this and we will be able to have a pretty nice move. I'm looking at some gap here. I can see some gap. Well, the whole gap here around 25, 24. So if we can rejoin that, that will be nice. But we can also see 22 as a resistance right now for Li. Okay, for Li Auto. So of course, I will not play earnings, but this one is to watch potential head and shoulder coming. If not, we have a double bottom. But again, we hope that this 1850 will hold. Okay, so level is 1850, 1658, and 2224, around that range. 2141 also. Okay, that 2122 range for resistance that we need to break. Except that we don't have anything on Friday interesting. Okay, I just want to see some consumer stuff, consumer staple, consumer defensive. I have consumer staples here. What we want to see from them is, okay, let's see last week how we performed. Okay, so this is a weekly chart of the consumer staples. Very too volatile candle. Very this is a warning sign, of we don't know what is happening next. So I think I will not touch these. XLE, this is looking very bearish to the downside. Okay, if we cannot hold 51 on XLE, I have 5184 here. We broke it several times to the downside. We never managed to really get off that 51. We may look to retest it once again. XLF, Kenny covered it. Again, two very volatile candle, not looking that safe. So we're maybe looking for a rotation, but I don't know. XLK tech sector, we're heading lower. We try to gap up, but I think it's more easy for the sellers this week to short than to buy calls, because we can see this very bearish wick wicking the point of control here around 130, 131. And we didn't manage to close, within the body of last week. Around the middle, we're in the low portion of the body, so that is a very bearish sign. Okay, so more downside expected for next week, potentially a choppy week. Okay, but I think the point of control needs to be touched soon. So yeah, maybe grab some calls here near 130 and swing it to the upside. Except from that, PDD and Lee, I think this week earnings, it's tech has passed for earnings. There's nothing really interesting that I'm looking at. So I guess I will be hoping you guys have a good trading week. Don't forget, Kenny and Doc are live streaming, I think, every day. Isn't it, Kenny? Are you guys streaming every day? Yeah, right. Is your mic mute again?
Yeah. I just chatted yes, unmute. LOL. Yeah, we stream every day, Monday to Friday, 9 to 4. So market open to market close.
Yep.
I got hop into usually around 9 o'clock. I'll be on pre-market doing some analysis of the market live, just in case you guys want to hop in and check out what we do.
Yes. So wish you guys a good trading week again, and be careful out there. Again, I like Kenny's recommendation, 25 to 40%. ROI, I think it's pretty good in these time. We're still in dangerous water. We don't want to force any swings, especially swing side. I'm a big swing too. So and this market, very tough to swing because you get faked out like everywhere. But I just want to point out last thing, Shopify. I'm Shopify bullish. This doji candle kind of weird, volatility is coming, but I'm aiming for a scalp to 120, 1284 for Shopify. So I see you this week during chat and also in multiple sessions that I will host. Okay, and I'll see you next week for next watch list. See you guys. Thank you, Kenny.